Hey, it's Tim here, coach of men who want more, and today's message live stream is about the 3 keys to dealing with the emotional fucking roller coaster that we call life, that we call the human experience. And I wanted to address this because more and more I've had to deal with it within myself first and foremost over the years. And I know that you may be going through some emotional roller coasters in your life. Maybe you've been through a few in your life already and you're currently going through one right now. And it's fucking painful. I get it. I've been there many times. Through relationships. I've had 2 major breakups of long-term relationships, another couple of minor ones. I've had financial heartache, business failures. In different areas of my life, I've been through that emotional roller coaster that you may be feeling. I've also had family dynamics shift in recent times that have been quite emotional, and had a lot of close mates in and around my age sort of still in the prime of their life die for different reasons, and it's been an emotional ride. And I know that you too have had an emotional ride, whether you want to believe it or not. Maybe it's just internal and you keep all that shit inside. I used to be like that. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you have expressed a lot of that emotion and you're just sick and tired of having to deal with the emotional roller coaster, the fucking pain of it all. And I want to offer you sort of 3 keys that I've learned over the years. And emotional intelligence is something that I've dived into over the last, let's say, 5 years deep. I realised that it was holding me back, my lack of emotional intelligence. It was keeping me stuck in ruts in my life. It wasn't allowing me to be all of who I was, to live into my potential, to reach for my greatness and my dreams. It was holding me back in my relationships, in my business, in my financial results, in my health and my body. In every area I could think of, my emotional intelligence wasn't at the level that I wanted to. So I started seeking guidance. I started reaching out to people who knew more than me, who were obviously living life at a higher level, and finding out the answers, finding out my answers for me. And that's what I want to give you today. Hopefully this message has hit you at the right time. Dealing with the fucking emotional roller coaster of life, you can't get away from it. So stop trying, stop resisting, because that resistance keeps you trapped. That resistance has you feeling like shit. That resistance has you wanting to run instead of facing it. Instead of facing the emotional roller coaster that we call life, that every single human being has to deal with. You've had to deal with it. I've had to deal with it. Your best friends had to deal with it. Your partners had to deal with it. Your kids will and currently do deal with it. People nearest and dearest to you, we have this thing called emotion, and most of us don't understand it, therefore we can't really address it. And we seek success in the outside world, in our physical world, in potentially our mental world as well. We're the emotional world. I believe that there's the physical, mental and emotional, and if we're not growing in each, we're going to keep bumping up against the same problems, challenges, concerns, struggles. So let me get to the sort of 3 keys that I want to give you today, give you some value here, that if you're going through this emotional roller coaster, what you can use. The first one is realizing that it is only temporary and that the emotion will pass if you allow it to. Now, you can choose to stay there and indulge in those emotions, those disempowering emotions. Maybe it's worry, maybe it's stress, maybe it's sadness, maybe it's anger, maybe it's just a lack of forgiveness, judgment, self-doubt, whatever label you want to put on it. You can choose to stay there, or you can choose to believe it's only temporary. All the shit that you're going through, whether it's a breakup, whether it's a divorce, whether it's business turmoil, whether it's financial bankruptcy, whether it's how you feel about your body and your health, it doesn't matter here. It's only temporary if you choose it to be. If you choose it to be temporary, it will be. If you choose it to be weeks, months, fucking years, it will be. And it would be painful. It'll be a painful ride for you. Now, there have been different times through my life where I've chosen it unconsciously for it to take longer than it's necessary to move through that emotional roller coaster. And it was painful. It hurts. So give yourself the gift. The first key is to realize, hey, it's only temporary. As much as I'm going through right now, it is only temporary. The one certainty in life is that life is uncertain. Think back to your life. the last few years? Has things changed? Mine has, a lot. I'm sure yours has too. So life is uncertain, so that's what we can get certainty in. So if life is uncertain, therefore we can understand that the emotional roller coaster that we're going through right now is temporary, because you've been through a lot of emotional roller coasters. Now, the depth and the duration of the roller coaster is up to you. That's one thing I've learned over recent years. The depth, how deep you go into that anger, how deep you go into that worry, how deep you go into that concern, that anxiety, that loneliness, whatever those emotions you're feeling, that roller coaster, how deep you go is up to you, and also how long you stay there. Depth and duration. You can go there, but don't stay there, so the duration is short. And you don't have to go so deep. You can feel those emotions, but you don't have to go so deep. So the first key is it's temporary. Keep that in mind. The second, before I get that, let me say hello to a few people here. Hey Laura, hey Zoe, Tim, thanks for joining, Brad, Suzanne, thank you guys, Autumn, Mike, John, Comrade, thank you guys for jumping on live here, talking in and around the emotional fucking roller coaster of life. I'm giving you 3 keys here that I really want you to think into. I want you to put down in pen and paper. If you feel that's going to help, it will. You're going to retain 60% more information if you write it down, by the way. The first one is it's only temporary, whatever you're going through. The shit that you're going through, the emotional roller coaster that you're feeling is only temporary. That belief alone will help you. Second, seek perspective. Seek perspective. Whenever I think back to how I navigated the emotional roller coaster, whether it be in business, in past unsuccessful or unfulfilling relationships, whether it's how I feel about myself, my personal power, I've seeked perspective. I've moved through it to a certain degree, then I've got out of my own way and I've seeked a higher perspective. And that's come in different forms, by the way. There's not just one way to get different perspective, there's many. And that's the gift. There's so many. I have a coach to this day because I believe in coaching. I believe in going to somebody who is further along the timeline than me, who gives me different perspectives. And then if I choose to action those in my life, that's up to me as an intelligent human being. That's up to you. This is seeking other perspective if you're watching this right now, whether it's live or on the replay. So I congratulate you on that. Whatever perspective is out there, you've got access to if you go searching for it. So another perspective is necessary to move through the emotional roller coaster. And you might have done it, you might have done it unconsciously. And if there's anything that you've been holding on to, part of it is, A, you don't want to let it go, but B, you haven't had another perspective to actually shift you past that. That's all. And you've got to be open to that perspective. I don't know if you're committed to your growth like I am, you are open to that. You're open to different perspectives to make up your own meanings in and around those, and therefore progressing your life with that. So seeking perspective is so important to move through that emotional roller coaster. Because without it, you stay trapped in your own perspective. And remember, your perspective is one. Emotional Intelligence 101. Seek more than one perspective. There's another person's perspective. So if you've had fights or arguments in any past relationships, I'm sure you have, just like me, then majority of the time you're seeing your perspective. You're not seeing their perspective. Because if you're seeing their perspective, there'd be a lot less resistance. But you're just seeing yours. And that's human. That's part of our ego. We want our way. We want to be right. We want to see our perspective. We want them to see our perspective. But if you stay there, it's not going to help you navigate and move through the emotional roller coaster that you're feeling or have felt. If you're sick of the depth and the duration of the roller coaster, you can't get away from the roller coaster. You're on it. The roller coaster is called fucking life. Get used to that. But secondly, you don't have to go to the depths and duration of the roller coaster. Seeking a different perspective to help you through that is absolutely key. Final key coming up. Suzanne, thanks for jumping on. Hey Chris, hey bro. Mike, bless you too. Sophia, Laura, Zoe, thinking, good. Something to think about here. Again, Tim, Brad, Autumn, John, Comrade, thanks for joining guys here live. Talking about the emotional roller coaster, giving you 3 keys, how to navigate this fucking beast. And it can be a beast, but it doesn't have to be such a big beast. And hopefully you're getting some value here. The first point I touched on was it's only temporary. You need that belief. Second was seeking perspective. Make sure you're not just stuck in your perspective all the time. It's going to lead you down a road of pain, a road of suffering. And the third key I want to give you is to grow yourself. Grow yourself. Rather than stay stuck in the emotional roller coaster and stuck in those disempowering emotions, which keep you feeling like shit, which keep you flat, which keep you down, which keep you depressed, grow yourself. Break through and start growing yourself at a new level. Because the challenge that you're faced with now will only be overcome if you grow you, if you choose to break through it. Otherwise, it'll keep repeating itself. So you need to grow yourself. You need to say, enough. Enough of the depth and duration of this emotional roller coaster that I've been feeling. I will grow myself, and whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Whether that's get your ass to an event, whether that's invest in some coaching, whether that's read the fucking book that's been sitting on your desk that you know you should be reading, whether that's invest in the online course, whether that's make sure you contact that person or that friend that you know just would be able to help you here. However it looks for you. I'm not here to give you the answer on how you grow yourself. We all do it in different ways. Maybe that's get back into your health and fitness and start valuing your body and your energy more. Maybe that's just connecting, finding great community groups that you can connect with some like-minded individuals. If you want a great community, jump on my 30-day mindset motivation training if you haven't already. I'll drop the link in the comments. That's free. 30 days of mindset motivation. Great community in there, in the group. I'm in there every single day giving feedback. So I'd encourage you to do that if you're looking for environment. Because growing yourself by yourself is great, but when you add fuel to that through environment, you go to a new level. So you are who you are. You are who you hang around with. The top 5 people, Jim Rohn says. I know you know this stuff, but are you doing it? You see, because so often common sense isn't common practice. So knowing is not enough. You must do this shit. You must want to move through the emotional roller coaster, realizing it's only temporary. You must seek another perspective, many, so it can give you different context on the situation. And yes, you must grow yourself. You must have a relentless drive, even when you're down, even when you feel like shit, even when you're deep in those depressional states, to say, hey, I can pull myself out of this, and it starts with a new mindset. It starts with upgrading my emotional intelligence. That's it, guys. So, final check-in here, perception, perspective. Perception, perspective, yeah, great question there. Perspective comes from an outside source. Perception is the meaning you create around it. Hopefully that helps. Neal, grow and learn from it. You got it, brother. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here live. Just giving you 3 keys around the emotional roller coaster, what you can do to navigate that so it doesn't own you. Don't let the emotional roller coaster or this experience and your emotions just own you and dictate your life. You deserve more. You can deal with it. Make sure that the belief of it's only temporary is there. Make sure that you're seeking perspective. And also, make sure you're growing yourself. That'll hold you in great stead. That'll hold you in great stead to take another step towards your dreams, to believe more in yourself, and to live the life that you really want and to be the person that you really want to be. So, thanks, comrade. Very useful advice. I appreciate you being here. Hey, Tom, thanks for jumping on late. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much also. If this has helped you, if you know somebody in your life that this has helped, please share this video. Please like it too. You're helping me live my mission, so thank you so much. Much gratitude to you, and wherever you're watching, thank you so much for your time today, and it's your time to step in your strength and to be the best man you can be.